There's a reason why it's hard for you to stand up for yourself. You know those times where somebody's being aggressive towards you or being passive aggressive, and in that moment you feel your whole system just tighten up, you feel your throat close, and you just shut down, and you freeze. And this is pretty common with people that have a very certain type of trauma. Let me explain. So if you're familiar with the trauma world, all of our belief systems, the way we are, is stemmed from how we were raised. So if you were raised where if you spoke up for yourself, right? Let's say you're angry at your mother and your mother didn't have the emotional capacity to be with that anger. So she would yell at you, whip you, hit you, put you into your room so you didn't talk. And she did that for your whole childhood. So you were programmed at a very young age that your voice does not matter. You were programmed to say, if you are angry and you speak up for yourself, I'm not going to love you anymore. I'm going to physically hurt you. I'm going to shame you. And to a child, to have that love ripped away from them is a really huge emotion. There's a plethora of emotions that that kid is feeling. The feeling of rejection, betrayal, confusion, anger, sadness, grief, all these things that are trying to flow through that child's system is very overwhelming for them. And then they create a story about themselves in that moment of, it's not safe for me to speak up. And that goes into your adulthood of why it's hard for you to speak up. So with this specific trauma, and especially if you have trauma around physical abuse too, right? It's not just the verbal abuse. If you've been physically abused, right? And let's stay away from spanking is just a normal thing that people did, and it was healthy. It's not healthy. Science shows it that physically putting pain to your child has deep psychological issues for that child when they're growing up. So even with that, right? With that trauma, you're learning at a young age that I don't have autonomy over my body, right? People can just use my body for whatever. So on a subconscious level, if you have any of these traumas, you're probably going to get into a relationship where you're going to date a controller, where you don't have a voice, where you're shut down, right? Or let's say that you don't have autonomy over your body. That's the belief system that you had. You're probably going to be bullied growing up. Probably going to be bullied throughout your lifetime. People are just going to take advantage of you. And this is something that people struggle with their whole life. And that's why the healing journey is so important. That's why it's important to understand trauma, to understand somatic therapy, and to understand, like, for example, I've used psychedelics to heal this stuff. And I've been bullied all my life. I've been in controlling relationships. I've had people take advantage of me my whole life. And it's now only maybe this year, in the past, maybe last year, where I finally started to stand up for myself. When people try to do something to me in public, right? I had a guy try to stand up to me in a grocery line. I just looked him straight in his eye and just confronted him, because I've been working on this trauma stuff, and I'm able to not freeze up in my nervous system, or to say my piece to a partner that needed to be said, or to confront someone that had crossed my boundaries of hey, I didn't appreciate that, and I really don't appreciate that energy when that energy is coming my way. So if you're having trouble with standing up for yourself, it doesn't have to be that way. And this video's intention is just to bring more understanding of why it's hard for you to stand up for yourself, and that there is a way out, that you don't have to be walked all over. Because when you have this wound, you're essentially being taken advantage of, and people are stealing your energy and not treating you the way that you need to be treated, and being treated the way that you deserve to be treated. And you deserve that. You deserve that peace. You deserve to be treated fairly. You deserve to not be taken advantage of. And if you really struggle with this, man, there's so many resources out there around trauma. Get a therapist, psychedelics, somatic therapy, IFS, inner child work, and these are all amazing tools to work with when it comes to healing your wounds around being taken advantage of and not being able to stand up for yourself. So, all right, y'all have a blessed day.